Back for Zelda, the Minish Cap's Europe release in 2004, Nintendo released some special Zelda-themed Game Boy Advance SPs. There's little actual evidence for these 24-karat gold-plated Game Boys to actually exist, other than some crappy promotion pictures, crappy console pictures, and these videos some dude made in his basement, shining his Game Boy at the camera. And there are a few auction listings that were found, and 2 people that have claimed to own these elusive consoles, and purchased from these websites back in 2013. But nothing can be confirmed at this point, and it's all for the memes. Because come on, who doesn't want gold plate everything? But if you were to actually find one of those, how much would they be worth? You tell me. But I can tell you one thing, I have one. So the alleged Minish Cap Golden SPs are AGS 001s. So today, in the spirit of that, we're building one of these that use one of those screens. Now those 2 people claim that it didn't weigh very much and they were just a thin gold plate over the console. So with this plastic shell, this build actually will be pretty representative of what the finished product actually felt and looked like. Now this shell is made by Extremerate and was provided for me for free to try out today. However, my thoughts and review are independent and my own. You can purchase one of these shells from a link in the description below, and you can use code at checkout Pizza Handhelds for 10% off. Alright, how do they compare? Pretty close. Pretty close. But you know what? I actually prefer the Extremerate one a little bit better. Because you gotta check out that shine, and I'm the dude in the basement shining it at the camera. What do you think about that? So let's prep that screen, clean it off a little bit, and make sure you have a clean motherboard to import into the shell. You want to keep those hinges, careful that you don't break off the tabs when you remove those off the donor console. Now you want to slide on those hinge covers. Now you notice there's 2 different hinges, one white and one black, and they go on very specific sides of the system. The one on the right is, make sure that's the white hinge, and then the one on the left is the black hinge. I remember that because they rhyme, right? White, that's how I remember. And when you put in these hinges, there are 2 channels you can see on the hinges, and they align with these little notches in the shell. So be sure to look into those shell holes and align those channels so they can be inserted properly. They went in way easier than a lot of other shells that I've used in this shell. Not sure if that's a good or bad thing, but they went in very easy, and I'm happy about that. But you can check for the fitment because it should snap close. If your shell doesn't snap closed after you insert the hinges, you've done it backwards and you need to take them out and try again. Go ahead and place the screen in the top panel and put that ribbon connector inside the hinge. Part of the hinge is removable and has 1 long screw that you're going to want to put in. Today we're using the Mako driver set. I'll also leave a link in the description below. Check them out. I highly recommend them. I was a cheapo. I used freebies. But when I switched to this, your life has changed, man. Never gonna go back. Be sure when you're working on the shell, you put down a little soft towel so you don't scratch the surface. Because like I said, this is plastic, it'll scratch easy, and you don't want to mess up your brand new shell. One thing I will say about these Extremerate hardware is they seem a little bit light, cheap, and easy to strip. I actually recommend using the original Game Boy SP hardware and just transfer it over to here. It should all be the same, but the original OEM hardware is so much better. After the screws are in, press down on the screen to make sure there are no gaps and the screws are fully inserted. Now we have this purple Extremerate button set too. We're going to use purple today because purple and gold can't go wrong. Now with the button set, they're going to include a volume slider, which I've actually never used that replacement for any of my SP builds just because I haven't been able to get the original volume slider off of the motherboard. Proceed with caution and beware of any damage you might do to the volume slider when you try to remove that button. Also, I prefer the OEM membranes as well because the aftermarket ones just never feel right. When reinserting these speakers, I tend to bend the pins a little bit further up so that they make good contact with the motherboard. Sometimes when you close the shell up, you'll have poor connection with the speakers and the speakers won't work right. You can depress down in the center of the shell and you can confirm that that's the problem. Every time I reshell an SP, I always forget buttons or sliders. You want to make sure you do everything before you close the shell back up. One of the most annoying parts, in my opinion, of these builds are the L and R button. These little teeny, sharp as hell spring fasteners. If you're confused on how these go, just make sure you pull your OEM button and see how they're put together because it's kind of hard to see how everything goes in this video. But the general idea is that you want to place the spring in between the two notches on the button, and you're going to want to align the ends of the spring into the notches on the button, and then place the post through the button and place it into the shell. So once you place them in and the posts are in, you can bend those little pins into the notch. And once they're in the notch, then you're good to go and they should sit still. This step of putting the L and R buttons into the console is probably one of the hardest parts of the whole Reshell. Again, don't forget this little nut that should go right in that place. It's compression fit, so you might have to press a little bit hard, but it's pretty easy to get in. Nice, nice. Now grab that piece of metal shielding and we're gonna place that black adhesive over the top. On the other side, there's a piece of blue protective film. Be sure to take that off before screwing it into your console. Carefully screw it in. And now you're good to go. Go ahead and close your SP, place the final screws and everything back into place. And bam, you got that $1 million Gameboy Advance SP right in your hands. You're the lucky winner of the Minish Cap contest that was held back in 2004. I'm jealous of you, bro. Place the battery back into the back, close it shut. And as you can see throughout this video, it's a fingerprint magnet. So wherever you take this, be sure to carry a rag to shine it up again. You don't want to be caught with a fingerprinty golden SP. You want to make sure it's always shining clean. And the last step, once you're happy with everything, is you place those rubber pads onto the screen. You want to make sure, because if you have to take those out again, you risk damaging them. Luckily, Extremerate has provided you with some extra ones, so even if you do have to take them out and damage them, you have some extras to put back on. Pop the Pokemon Ruby in the SP. Let's try it out. Ah yeah, everything's working great. Buttons are feeling good. Let's go. Now let's compare the consoles. So there's the video of the bro in the basement showing off his SP, and then there's ours looking just as shiny. I don't know, you tell me. Tell me in the comments below. Anyways guys, thanks for watching. Great job. Please check out all the links below for all of the products that you've seen here in this video. In addition to my Etsy store where I'm selling a lot of these consoles that I mod on these videos. Feel free to contact me if you have any mods that you want me to build for you and make videos for you. I'm happy to do so. And we'll talk to you later. Have a nice day.